Am I the one that's supposed to launch this today? What's happening?
Jason, you want to go?
Oh, sorry. What's going on, all you tantalizing tarantulas? My name is Mason.
And I'm Alex.
And I'm Davis.
Oh, and welcome to FU Fantasy Football.
Fantasy.
FU Thursday night injury. Holy dick bunnies, man.
Dick bunnies.
I'm so upset. I'm so mad. I'm jumping straight into my rant.
Let it, buddy.
I'm blaming every last bit of this on James Alexander Bryan.
And that's valid. I can vouch for it.
Yeah. Because it's true, and look at this list of things that I've got that is his fault, and I'm going to go through them right now for those watching, or not watching. I just scrolled so many pages. Let's take a trip back, shall we? Week 1, and we're just going to start with fantasy. We're not even going to do betting yet. We'll come back to betting.
Okay.
Week 1, James Alexander Bryan and I. We make a trade after week 2, and where I send him Devon Achane, and I get Roschon Johnson. Mind you, this is after his first game where he actually got any play. I think he got 2 touches, and he got about 1.2 fantasy points. The next week, he scored almost 50, and Roschon Johnson has been a huge disappointment. We move on. We traded Tyler Lockett. I gave him Tyler Lockett, and I sent him, or he sent me Hollywood and Javonte. The next week, Javonte went out for multiple weeks, and Hollywood was okay. But we're not here to give flowers. We're here to shit on Alex. We move on. In another league, I send him CeeDee Lamb because he offers me what I thought was the farm, and Devontae Smith, Kyron Williams. And he sends me Lockett back. Kyron Williams goes out the next week. And the other 2 have just been middling, up and down weeks. And that is infuriating because CeeDee Lamb is probably the best wide receiver moving forward. And
the world has ever seen, I think.
Oh, God, it's crazy. And that was just fantasy. That's just fantasy. Let's go back to the preseason where Alex and I made a bet about one Aaron Rodgers and the Jets making the playoffs. 4 snaps into the season, Aaron Rodgers goes down, and their season is essentially over. They're now 4-5, and I'm gonna have to pay Alex like $100, or I think it's $50 on that bet.
Now, wait just a minute. They are talking about Aaron Rodgers coming back for a potential playoff push. Your thoughts?
Pipe dream. Good fucking luck. I won't be betting on that either, but I'm pretty sure if I did, I would actually make my money back that they don't.
Yeah, I have a full hour's worth of material on that, guys. That is for 3 other podcasts. Good Lord.
And then also this preseason, we make a bet that Mark Andrews catches 65 balls, a mere 65 ball. I say done, easy, put it in the bank. Alex says, no, he's injury prone. He or his quarterback are going to get injured. Well, fast forward to last night. Freak accident, no hamstring, no lingering thing, no concussion. Freak accident, gets rolled up on, is out for the season. Alex, this is all your fault. And I hate you. F you, Alex. That's my rant.
Now that you mentioned it, Mason, when I watched that injury happen, they did show somebody on the sideline with a Panthers hat. Alex, were you there?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think
he did like a logo
spell casting.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like, I will not lose this bet. I have been on a streak in my DraftKings.
45 catches. He was there, man.
Oh, dude, he was in the best. And then a freak accident. So annoying. Dude, if it was a hamstring, I'd be like, oh, he called it. That actually makes sense. Because
that's something that which is another topic, the hip drop tackle.
Yeah. I'm looking over these bets. You will get me on, probably. and this is where I'd be really scared, Davis, is that I bet Mason that the Panthers would make the playoffs. And the only way they can make the playoffs is if they came back in the division. And that's the only bet that I have out that I am probably not going to win.
Probably not, my dude. You're not going to win.
I don't know. A lot of things are happening where I'm just winning out of nowhere. So
Yeah, well, that one happens. I'll be ecstatic, but I doubt. I'll happily pay you that one.
For our audio listeners, I'm wearing my Drew Brees Saints jersey today because, to Alex's point, the Saints can't hurt me this week. They're on a bye. Who knows what's going to happen in the next 6 weeks?
You know, they could, though. They couldn't, but if the Panthers somehow pull a win out and they're just suddenly 2 games back, that division's so terrible.
You heard it here first. This is a classic trap game for the Cowboys. Let's just be clear about that. Classic.
And they did lose to the Cardinals, but that was with our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, Josh Dobbs.
True.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I told you, but Peyton Manning started off 1-8 too, and he went up against the 6-3 Jets, who ended up the year 12-4. And they lost their last game to the 1-8 Peyton Manning Colts. So it's happened before. We'll see.
I don't think 1-8 gets you in into the playoffs, though.
No, I'm saying for this week. I'm talking about this week.
Combine 2 overused jokes into one, which is that Peyton Manning's forehead is bigger than Bryce Young. So I don't think any of that.
No. That's a short joke, I guess. All right, let me go into my rant. Ew, that whole game. Ew. The field sucked. The refs sucked. The play on the field sucked. There was drops. There were missed calls. There were phantom calls. Like, OBJ didn't hold anybody for Zay Flowers to get a touchdown. I'd be pissed off if I was a Zay Flowers owner.
Yeah.
Also, the phantom pass interference, like,
that was bad.
Touch him. Like all of a sudden, like, Zay Flowers like jumped into him last minute, but like barely. What is this product that the NFL is rolling out right now? It is awful. Like, Keaton Mitchell slipping all over the field, Lamar Jackson slipping all over the field. Like, it is ew. Like, ew. The big touchdown that happened was Nelson Aguilar getting a deflection up in the air, and then you run to it. Like, there was no good football or good anything last night. It was just like, ew.
Gnashing of teeth and sorrow and terrible clothing.
Yeah, and then of course, like, Thursday Night Football, because it always happens on Thursdays because they shouldn't play 4 days rest. All the injuries in the world. So, ew. Like, I hated last night. I hated watching that game. It was awful.
What was the thing that I was at the bar, so I was working while I was watching. We didn't have sound on. What was the thing that they're pissed that they didn't disclose that Burrow had a thumb thing?
Yeah, that's a whole deal. So apparently, and I had no idea because they didn't disclose it. But coming off of the bus, he had a brace on his hand, almost looked like a carpal tunnel brace, and he was kind of off target. Like, he still had made some decent throws.
Yeah,
and then that touchdown pass to Joe Mixon, he's just like. And
it didn't even
kind of wrist strain or something. Yeah, but he couldn't throw the ball. He couldn't grip it after that.
Yeah, because then it showed him on the sideline, and he literally, like, halfway through his motion just like let go and just like grabbed his hand.
That throwing rotation.
I want to say that, I'm doing this on camera. I want to say that it's like that meaty part of his thumb. There's something in that. It looked like a grip strength thing because when he tried to throw that ball, he just immediately let go when he came to the apex of the throw.
Like a sharp pain shooting.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll hear more about it, and hopefully they get fined for that because
the NFL's investigating. That's a bad look.
You can't do that.
Also, can we talk about
the NFL is more than just the NFL. Like, there's so much money. There's so many other things that trickle down from the NFL that are that people bet on, that people have livelihoods built around. And if you aren't disclosing this stuff, that is fucking with people's money, and that gets people pissed.
Yeah. Can we also talk about the laxness of punishments in NBA and NFL? Like, Draymond Green just choked out Rudy Gobert and got a 5-game suspension. Like, literally dragged him across the floor. Like, Nikola Jokic literally put a guy in the hospital last year by like going and just like shoving him in the back. And I don't know if he's going to ever play again. Like Deshaun Watson only gets 11 games. Like what is going on? Like nobody's laying down the hammer at all on any of these guys. But like Calvin Ridley made a bet last year and missed the whole season.
Yeah,
I'm actually surprised they gave Draymond that many
5 games. Yeah,
yeah. I was like, oh wow. I was actually surprised because of what you're saying. Essentially, it's like that's pretty extreme compared to what they've done. You know?
Yeah.
Joker, did he even get a game for that?
I think he got one game
for that happening. So
yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's how much I know.
There was
like body checked this dude in the back, and he like had a whiplash and was in the hospital.
What's on with the brothers?
The Morris twins.
The
Morris twins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Never going to say anybody deserves anything, but if anybody's going to start a street fight, it's the Morris twins.
Yeah, but they would lose to the Joker brothers. Those dudes grew up in war.
Yeah,
the scariest. Like the fact that he is the smallest, I think he's the smallest of the 3, but his 2 brothers, Nikola Jokic, holy cow. Well,
they are large land mammals, but he is much taller than they are.
Yeah.
All right. Davis, we got to get to your rant.
Yeah, real quick. We've already hit on Thursday night games, so I'm going to combine 2 real fast. When have we ever been happy about a Thursday night game? I think almost never. Why are we doing Thursday nights? To your point, it's Mason, it's money. So, you guys just brought up that kind of really ground my gears about the injury reports thing and messing with people's money. NFL personnel, coaches, players, stop freaking out about, well, you're just mad because you bet on us, or you're mad because of your fantasy team. Like, that's a reality. It's all, like Arthur Smith with his, like, I don't care about your fantasy team. Get that. So much of your fan base, so much of the reason you have a job is counting on this, right?
Yeah. It's phantom.
Not so much just like, hey, I'm going to pull up my box score on Monday and see how Bijan Robinson did. You're facing with your actual fan base. At least acknowledge that. That's why Austin Eckler, we love Austin Eckler because he's leaning into it. We don't want you to alter the way that you're playing. We don't want you to alter the way that you are operating, but give us some information. Play ball with us too, because ultimately, if you don't have us, where's your nothing?
You don't have a paycheck. Yeah, 1,000%. It's like the war. Like I'm going back to the NBA again. Like the war on the fans courtside that are yelling at the players, and they're getting all upset because they're saying nasty things.
Have a thick skin. I mean, unless it's like racist.
$40 million a year.
Yeah,
there's always a line.
Is more than I've made in 10 years.
Yeah, there's always a line, obviously.
There's a line, but even then, even if people cross that line, it's like, that's just life, man. People are going to be shitty, and people are going to find a way to get in your head, and they will cross the line, and it's not okay. But also, you're making $40 million a year. People say the most heinous things about my mother. They could,
not about Kathy.
Even about Kathy Walters. If they paid me even $1 million a year, oh my God. Just
be like,
I guess the race thing is a little bit different, but like still, guys.
Yeah. This is like, you don't get this money without us as a fan base. So like, come on, man. You don't create a war on fans. All right, let's move on to the game previews if we can.
Yeah.
This is what really sucks about this is that I'm going by NFL.com, and the first game I get to is Dallas versus Carolina.
Get the pain out of the way.
Oh, man. So I'm going to go with Mason. You get to go first because I just feel like Davis is not going to be nice.
How dare you? I'm almost always not nice.
I'm surprisingly, I think I'm going to go with Thielen here. He's had a couple mediocre down games, but I think they're going to have to pass to get back in this one. So I think you were already starting Thielen because you probably have to, but I think you can expect a better game from him. They're going to be down. He's still getting the targets. I would expect a little bit. I have dropped him in my ranks a little bit. He's not like the fringe wide receiver 1 for me. Because this Dallas defense is good, but they're gonna have to throw the ball, and I think if they want to have any sort of chance of staying in this game, they're gonna have to throw it to Thielen.
Yep. Yeah, Carolina threw it like 40 times last game and still wasn't very fantasy relevant. So I don't think it changes this week.
I will be surprised if it's not, if he doesn't have a better game. And if he doesn't, then that's 3 games in a row, and then I'm real nervous.
Yeah, he'll at least get the targets, and that's what we're looking for. Yeah. Whether it's completions or not, we don't know, but he'll at least get the targets. Davis, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a position instead of an actual player and go Carolina running backs. For same reason that Mason took Thielen, we need completions. We need honestly just like keep the ball moving. I think you're going to see a lot of Chuba Hubbard and a lot of Miles Sanders. Probably 6 or 7 targets each. I don't know that you're going to get to run the ball very well. I think if you can get the ball just even out in a little bit of space and get 3 or 4 yards, that's probably how the offense is going to have to do it.
Are you playing them? You would play them?
I would probably play Chuba in a tight spot, but that's just, again, if we're looking for a total lottery ticket, kind of like you were talking about yesterday, Mason, that's where the opportunity is going to come from. I wanted to say like a Tommy Tremble or somebody like that, but I just don't know if I can buy anybody except Thielen in the passing game right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mike Strachan, he's a 6'5", 225 guy. He had that long catch last week. Reich loves those big, tall guys, and we just don't have that in the X receiver. So that would be a guy that like best ball, daily fantasy. Right. But other than that, I would try not to start any Panthers outside of Thielen.
So Thielen targets the past 3 weeks, and his fantasy production has been mediocre: 15.2, 7.9, 10.2, but he's had 11, 6, and 10. So he's still right there. The previous weeks, he was 14, 8, 13, 13, and he was a beast. So, the connection is just wavered a touch recently, but I think they're going to have to keep going back to him.
Yeah, and no Leighton Vander Esch, so the middle of the field is going to have a backup linebacker. So I agree with Davis that the running backs, Thielen, and the tight ends are good because they got to get the ball fast. They can't let Michael Parsons tee off on them.
I can't, in good faith, say that Miles Sanders is a start.
I wouldn't start Miles Sanders, no at all.
Chuba and Thielen is pretty much all they're doing.
Dallas, just start everybody. All right, moving on. Were
you playing Brandon Cooks?
I think so.
Yeah, man, his targets have been fantastic recently. His production has followed with it. So I remember I said a couple episodes ago that he's had double digits 3 of the last 4. So he's definitely a flex consideration.
Yeah, that offense is a well-oiled machine. I'd be shocked if they didn't score at least 24 points. I'm hoping that that's all they score, but because I have Carolina plus 10.5. Okay, we got the Steelers at Browns. Davis, you gotta go first this time.
Which game? Sorry, my
Steelers at Browns.
Steelers Browns. I can go first. I'll take it. If that's okay.
Yep.
I'm going. Start now. I'll kick in.
Sorry, what just happened? Alex just disappeared for a second.
Oh, good. That wasn't me. Nice. Now he can't hear?
No, he can't hear anything.
Yeah. It's like just a EMP happened.
I'm going to take this time to look up a good Steelers versus Browns.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, I don't know what to do with this game.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
we got you.
Gee, what happened right there? It was weird.
Very strange.
So Steelers at Browns. I missed whatever you said, so say it again.
I will dive in. I think I'm going to start with the Steelers and say start Jaylen Warren. I don't think that's hard hitting analysis, but because he's a backup running back, quote unquote. He's performed great the past few weeks, and he is exactly the kind of running back that they're going to need to lean on for a game like this against the Browns. Catching balls, quick, explosive. They're probably going to pile drive Najee Harris in for a touchdown, from the 3. But I'm looking for Jaylen Warren to catch 5 balls and have about 60 yards rushing.
Yeah, I like that call a lot. Don't let Myles Garrett get to you quickly on the ball fast.
Yeah.
And the offense looks a lot better now that Deontay Johnson's back, which helps the run game immensely. Mason, what do you think about this game?
And that's a beautiful lead-in of everything you just said applies also to Deontay Johnson. He had a down week last week. I was nervous about playing him. I have some other options that I think might be a little bit better, but I would not, if I didn't have Hollywood Brown, I think I would feel very good still about playing Deontay Johnson, who is on my team. His targets were fine before last week. I talked about it all last week. He had 3 awesome weeks in a row. He had this one dud. He had 4 targets, 1 catch, 17 yards, 2.7 fantasy points, which really hurt. But the previous 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, 6 targets, 14 targets, 9 targets for 12.9, 16.5, and 22. I think they're going to try and get the ball out fast, and he's their guy. I would start him feeling just fine about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Pickens is going to get the award shadow. So I would not start Pickens whatsoever. The only way they're going to move the ball, I think, is with Warren and with Deontay Johnson. And those are the only 2 I would recommend. If you need a Najee, I mean, he's fine. He's fine.
Yeah, there's some running backs out of the teams that are on bye. Running backs is actually the part is the most detrimental. So if you have to play him, I think he's okay. You're hoping for 10 kind of points.
Yeah, he's been decent the past few weeks,
and they use him at the goal line. He's been a goal line monster. So
yeah, I think you can start Elijah Moore. He's been better lately, and Pittsburgh can't defend the pass. It is a division game. I'm saying you can. I wouldn't recommend. I don't recommend owning Elijah Moore, but you can if you own him. This would be the time to start him. I like Amari Cooper in this game, and I like Njoku.
I don't know if I don't think I agree with the Elijah Moore thing. New quarterback, I would stay very far away from him.
Yeah, I mean they manipulate touches for him, so that's why the new quarterback I think would be good for him because everything's like a low ADOT because he goes in motion a lot. He does jet sweeps. He does all this other kind of stuff, and he's starting to actually hit on this stuff. Like I said, I'm not recommending him. I'm saying that I don't hate if you start him.
3 wide receiver league, deep leagues.
Yeah,
right. I'm probably going to start him in our New York league because 3 wide receivers, and I don't have anybody else.
Yeah. But yeah, I just wouldn't own him. So
I picked him up last week because he was starting to break out, and then I dropped him for somebody else after Deshaun went on.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Same guys as always. Njoku, Amari Cooper, Ford, Kareem Hunt, and the Pittsburgh guys. I'd only Warren and Najee and Deontay Johnson. Yeah. Anybody else?
I think that's good.
Okay. Bears at Lions. Mason, your turn to go first.
I think you can start Justin Fields. Mm-hmm. He's that guy. I think people are going to be hesitant because he's got this thumb thing, and they might be worried about his grip strength, but that's not why we start him. Yeah, right.
It's not like he's going to 300 yards.
I think he and DJ are actually both startable. I like them both. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. I would go to the well. Davis is thanking his lucky stars that he traded for him because he just lost Burrow probably for some time. But his rushing upside is going to be good. Detroit is good against the run, but it's generally against running backs. So we'll see how that goes. But I think he's you can start him out the gate after coming back off IR.
Yeah, I agree. Davis.
There's so many different directions. I don't want to go obvious. I'll go Cole Kmet. So I think
I thought about him too.
Not to steal your thunder, Alex, but I think you start all of your Tigers here. Lions here. That's why I went baseball.
Bears, oh my.
Yeah, listen. Acuna won the MVP last night. I went baseball. Okay. You start all your Lions, so that's where I was getting tripped up. But I think you're gonna, with Fields coming back, we already talked about DJ Moore. Kmet's been good. And Fields was really looking for him there in the preseason and then right before he went out. So you're probably going to start him anyway. It's not breaking news, but I think you can lean on him this week.
Yeah, they're middle of the pack against the tight end, so not a bad call. Foreman or Khalil Herbert coming back this week? Do we know?
I heard that Herbert may be coming back, but I still think you can probably start Foreman.
I agree. I think he's taking the job. Yeah, I think he's taking the job.
Oh, I did see this yesterday that they were not committal to Herbert. There was an article on Bleacher Report I actually wrote down that said that they were not committed to any one back. So that is a ringing endorsement for Foreman.
Yeah. Is on the injury report with an ankle, so that's something to keep an eye on. And Herbert did practice in full, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bears aren't great against running backs, so I think you can start Montgomery and Gibbs with confidence. Amon-Ra and Laporta, and keep an eye on Peoples-Jones. He's finally going to start for the Lions. They've kind of been talking him up a little bit. Just keep an eye on him. But yeah,
game for Montgomery.
Ooh. You know, we never talked about the real big news from last week, which was Jamison Williams' breakout game, 2 catches for 18 yards.
Those Alabama receivers, man. Those Alabama wide receivers, they crushed.
Again, the worst fit on this show.
Let me have that into it.
All right, moving on. Chargers at the Green Bay Packers. Davis, what do you think about this game? Or is it somebody else's turn?
No,
it's Davis' turn.
I think so many things about this game. Primarily, I think you can start the Chargers defense on this one.
Wow.
Talking skill players typically, but spot start again, buys, etc. I think the Chargers defense is a sneaky play, especially in DFS, but they should be available. I didn't look up their ownership, but Green Bay is either hit or very much miss on offense, and typically it's at the end of the game that they start hitting. So I'm going to say you've got a really good chance to, you need a flyer defense, go with the Chargers.
Nice. Mason. I'm going to go with Jaden Reed.
Hey, love that.
Yeah, the Chargers' second or pass defense is not great. On the year, they're allowing almost 40 points to wide receivers. So they've been a little bit better recently. But I still think it's at home for Green Bay. So on the road, I think it's going to be a little bit easier. Jaden Reed had 19.4 points last night, 5 for 5 and a tutty, 84 yards. Big game. It was not his biggest game of the year, but almost. So he's looking for him. I think Romeo Doubs is also a good start here. I think you can flex both of them with confidence.
You clearly missed the part where I said you can start the Chargers defense.
Both these things can be true. Both these things can be true.
Yeah, Chargers 5th worst against wide receivers. Other than that, you can start Aaron Jones, Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen. Are we starting Guyton or Quentin Johnston?
I picked up Guyton in a league just because I want to see more. He was pretty good. I think he had 12 fantasy points last week.
Yeah.
EPR. I think he's taking that role. Johnson is not really doing. He's been fine. But I think Guyton got a lot of targets last week and like after coming off injury.
Yep. And then Dobbs, Jaden Reed, Aaron Jones, and Musgrave if you need it, but probably not. And I think that's it. I think we can move on to Cardinals Texans. I feel like a lot of points are going to be scored in this game as far as fantasy wise. Maybe not actual points, but fantasy points. Mason, what do you think about this game?
I'm going to go with Hollywood Brown. We talked about it yesterday a little bit. He's his guy. They have so much history. He missed him on a huge play by like literally about 6 inches, diving catch in the end zone. I think they get right here, and it's probably going to be a shootout. The Texans have just been doing that. Their defense, their secondary isn't particularly good, and I think Alex gave a good stat. I don't have it off the top of my head, but essentially number ones against them have been fantastic.
Yeah, 15 or more points, 3 of the last 4, and the lowest amount was Mike Evans with 12.7.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. Davis, what do you think about the game?
Well, I agree. I think it's going to be high scoring. I think neither defense is really going to get it done. It's tied for the highest over under on the week at 47.5 with Detroit and Chicago. My pick is going to be Trey McBride. I was very high on him in my rankings yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Frankly, personally, I am praying for him to keep dominating because guess what? He's my backup for Mark Andrews, who just went out for the year. But Trey, he's a target monster. He's getting it done. Mason called out Hollywood. I love that as well. But I feel like you need some pass catchers in that Kyler Murray offense on your team, and Trey McBride's my call.
Yeah, Houston 4th worst against the tight end this year. As
Trey
far
McBride,
as
I think did he have double-digit looks last week?
Yeah, I think he was tight end
9. He was up there.
I thought
he was awesome.
Yeah,
he was tight end on the week, but I think he had 10 targets.
He had 9.
Oh, you're talking about targets, double digits.
Yeah, 9 targets, caught 8 for 131 yards.
9. Jeez, man. Yeah,
15 targets against Baltimore.
Those are the 2 guys you won in that offense, for sure.
Yeah. Think about what Zach Ertz was before Kyler went down last year, and it's just like, oh, we got a younger Zach Ertz now. Great, we love that. Looks like Nico's going to play. Do we still want to play Noah Brown?
I think you have to.
I think you flex him.
Yeah, I think you put him in the flex and assume he's not going to blow up like he has the past 2 weeks. But
or he might.
It's a streak, man. 2's a streak.
Yeah, I'm playing him over Jaden Reed.
Heating up.
Yeah.
I picked him up in our 10.
I tried to. Yeah, asshat.
I just saw him sitting out there. I was like, why is he not owned? He should be owned.
Because I didn't have any fab to go get.
I am also out of fab.
You might have beat me to him. I can't remember, but yeah.
Yeah, I think I just saw him on waivers and picked him up for 0. I don't know. But yeah, I went and snagged him.
Yeah, I like being able to start everybody you can in this game. So I like Dell, Collins, Noah Brown, Singletary, CJ Stroud, Schultz, Hollywood, Kyler, McBride. I think that you can even maybe deeper leagues Wilson. I just want a part of this game because there's going to be a lot of points scored this game.
You say James Conner too. Obviously, you start.
Oh, and Conner. Yeah. Sorry.
What's the over/under on this? Does anyone have that?
47.5.
47.5. Tied for the highest on the week.
I was about to say
ESPN anyway.
Vegas, you know what you're doing.
Right.
I was about to say I'll take the over on whatever it is, but that's pretty high.
Pretty high over. Yeah.
It's up there.
All right, next game, Titans at Jaguars. Davis, what do you got in this game?
Well, it's funny you should ask. I'm looking for a Travis Etienne get right game.
I would still
throw that out there for your obvious or your not so obvious starts. I mean, I think it's just going to be a more of a get right game for all of your Jaguars. So Evan Ingram was going to be my call on that. I think Trevor's going to get a little bit better looks than he did against San Francisco, and I think Evan Ingram is going to get 6 or 7 targets and have himself a day.
Yeah, Mason, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. I think even Calvin Ridley. I'm not starting.
That's what I was going to say.
I have 3. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. I have 3 guys that I was trying to cycle through. I really want to play Calvin Ridley because I think he could have a boom game against this poor secondary in Tennessee. You can't run on them, but you can definitely throw. And I think it could be a get right game. They had the bye week. They came out and they looked real flat against San Francisco. And I think they now have an opportunity to chuck the ball over the yard. I think they want to get their quarterback going. I want the front office, the coaching staff, the players. They want Trevor to feel like he's getting back in rhythm because he's just been dogged all week by the media, and for good reason. Yeah. But I think because of that, they're going to try and get him going, and I think it could be a big Christian Kirk and Calvin Ridley game. Yeah,
they're looking behind them like, oh shit, the Texans are coming. So they need this win. They need to win.
Definitely need, and I think they get it, and I think they ride their wide receiver. I think it's a big week for all of them. If not, then holy shit, people are gonna be coming for blood.
Yeah, I mean, I understand holding on to Trevor. There's not really a reason to because he has, I think his highest week total is like 18 points all year.
Back 18 on the year.
Yeah, but if you have him, this would be the game that I would hope that you can get right with. So yeah, Ridley, Kirk, Ingram, ETN, Nuke. I think Nuke has a good game here, and Derrick Henry, Tajay Spears is a flex. Anyone else? My boy Kyle Phillips.
I actually don't mind Kyle Phillips in deeper leagues, although Jacksonville's defense is not necessarily to be slept on.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to throw, and I think Kyle Phillips is the number 2 target in that offense. Okonkwo, keep an eye on him too. He's starting to get some targets.
Henry's got a delicious matchup the rest of the way out. Which Davis, I know you traded him away, but he does have tantalizing matchups going down the stretch and into the fantasy playoffs.
Yeah, he's just not getting that workload that we're used to him getting. He used to get like 90% of the snaps, and now it's like.
Yeah, he's a buy low off of that poor week he had last week.
It does worry me a little bit, and then we can move on. That they came out of a bye and looked so flat. That's never what you want to see. But the Niners are just getting right, man. If they happen to be out on your, like I picked them up in 2 leagues, the Niners defense. If they're out there, go get them because they're probably going to be your best defense going forward.
Yeah,
I'm willing to write that game off as more of a one-off than a trend.
Yeah, I assume that the Niners are picked up against the Bucks. Maybe not though. Raiders at the Dolphins. Mason, what do you think?
Devon A-Chain is back. Baby.
There he is.
And here's the thing: you might be a little nervous to play him because he's coming off. You just got to throw him out there.
Yeah.
This is a game we play to win, and if you want to win, then put Devon A-Chain in your fucking lineup.
Yeah,
even if he busts, you got to go for the upside, man.
Yeah.
Go for the upside. And that's a thing that people need to be reminded of a lot. Is if you're deciding between 2 guys and you are on the fringe and you need a win, go for the guy that's got upside.
Yeah.
And I've been struggling with that again. I've been talking about my 3 wide receiver. I keep going back and forth on who I want to play. But upside is crucial. We play to win, and Devon A-Chain is going to help you do that. He's averaging over 25 fantasy points per game when he plays. That's just insane.
That's not terrible. We like those numbers.
We play to win the game.
Don't think about it. Start your studs. He qualifies as a stud and more.
Yeah.
Devon A-Chain.
Everybody starting this game, I think, is a stud. But Davis, who do you want to talk about?
I'm going to talk Jalen Waddle. Just because he does get left behind in limelight. He's been banged up a little bit, but he's still the guy, man. I mean, Tyreek is going to get his looks. I don't know that I've ever seen a more uncoverable or just like, hey, whatever the defense does, I'm just going to run past you.
Same.
From Tyreek, so shouts to him. But I think Waddle's still going to get a lot of looks. I think there's just going to be a lot of looks in this game in general.
Yeah,
and Waddle's going to put up, I'd say, top 15 numbers this week.
Yeah, I can see Dolphins getting into the 30s this week as far as points scored. Yeah, I like all your stud Dolphins. Waddle, Hill, Mostert, A-Chain, Tua, Myers, Adams, and
you feel good about Myers?
Yes. Like in this matchup, yeah, because Howard's going to take over Adams. So I think they're going to have to scheme guys open. Watch out. That's a sneaky defense to get too. That Dolphins defense.
Yeah. Xavier Howard back there.
Xavier Howard and Ramsey is coming back and healthy. But yeah, I think you have to start Myers because I think they're just going to have to throw the ball. I think the Dolphins put up a ton of points. McDaniel's off a bye.
I was going to say coming off a bye.
I'm a little wounded after his dud performance. I traded for him, and then he had one good week, one bad week. But he's another guy. I'm probably leaving him on the bench after I have.
Yeah, it depends on who you have. I've been 37th, so if 3 wide receiver leagues.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's flex. He's definitely a flex consideration, but it makes me a little nervous. But those 2 corners are good, man.
Yeah, watch out for the Dolphins just in general moving forward. I think they're a scary, scary team. the 6-3 team. Yeah, scary team. Weird, Alex. Moving on to the Giants at Commanders. Davis, you want to talk about this game?
Oh man, I just want to get mad again that who was it? Mason said Tommy DeVito could throw on the Commanders. No, that's not. Don't start any Giants except for Saquon. I'm going to pull out Samuel again. He's been down a little bit for the Commanders, but man, when Sam Howell looks his way, he makes stuff happen. I think that a lot of looks that would have gone to him last week went to Brian Robinson, and that may happen again. Obviously he crushed it, but I feel like Curtis Samuel is going to have a little bit of a resurgence this week. Probably one of those 6 catches for 80 yards, and stuff gets weird kind of games. But I think he can start him as flex in this game.
Yeah, Mason.
I'm gonna stay on the Commander side. Jahan Dotson gave you a goose egg last week, which
back, Jahan.
Oh my God, that is just a killer. But I think because this defense is so bad, I think they're going to try and get him right. He only had 2 targets last week, but the previous 2 weeks he was killing it. They're going to be just doing whatever they want to this defense. So look for a little bounce back. I would say he's a wide receiver 3 flex option.
Yeah, Giants are 3rd worst against the wide receiver. They got 1 decent corner, and that is Adoree Jackson, so he'll be on McLaurin. It won't matter. McLaurin will just dust him. So I wouldn't be scared of any Commanders that you might own. But keep it in perspective. Like, don't start. Curtis Samuel is a wide receiver 1, but if he was a flex guy for you, I'd start him with confidence. And Gibson. Robinson.
Gibson.
Yeah,
we all have Gibson around 30, which is in that flex consideration as well.
Maybe 2. I think Robinson will be the closer in that game because I think it's just they're going to get up early, and
just depends on how deep your league is. He's worth considering. It might be a little nervous, but you could do it for sure.
Yeah, every Commander that you could think about that you thought about playing, you can play. The only Giant definitely is Saquon. I can't imagine starting any other Giant.
One quick caveat before we move on is that the over-under in this game is 37.5, and I think that's because they expect Washington to score 34 of those points. So just be aware, it might not be a complete bloodbath.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the Buccaneers at Niners. Mason, what do you got?
Buccaneers at Niners. Davis, take over real quick. I'm formulating a thought.
Yep. I will go back to my well because I had Rachaad White ranked top 10. I'm going to double down on that. Say he's going to have himself a game. You're going to start him obviously anyway because of the last few games he's had, but I know there's still some trepidation there because his name is in fact Rachaad White. He's going to have a big game. He's going to be catching a lot of balls. The San Francisco Niners defense is very real, as I mentioned just a little while ago. So look for Mike Evans to be blanketed pretty decently. I do worry about Fred Warner, like you brought up the other day, Alex, in the linebacker spot. But Baker's going to have to get the ball out, whichever Bosa plays there. It's Nick Bosa there. He's going to be coming after his whole entire soul. So look for Rachaad White to be a safety valve there.
And the way to beat Bosa just in general is to run at him. So they might just do that. So that is a good point. Mason, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a decent matchup. Actually, I think that the Tampa Bay Bucks stay with them a little bit better because their secondary both these secondaries are pretty mediocre. So I think you can start Godwin with confidence. He's kind of been, he's that he's getting you 6 targets. He's getting you anywhere from 9 to 19 points on the year. But I think against San Francisco, you can start him. The past 2 weeks, he's been a little bit down, 3.6, 9.4. But he's had 6 targets in both of those games. And the 4 games before, he had 11, 7, 12, and 7. So he's still getting these looks. And against a pretty mediocre secondary, I think Chris Godwin, you can go back to the well on him.
So yeah, I'm gonna jump a little early to our Foo Fighter part of the pod. Brandon Ayuk 20+ points this game. I think Brandon Ayuk smashes this game. So that's my bold prediction is Brandon Ayuk over 20 points. I just think
I love that.
secondary up. But yeah, everybody that you would start for the 49ers, you can start, and everybody that you're normally starting for the Bucks, including Godwin, Evans, Rashad White, I think you can hold off on starting Cade Otton. There are better options, I'm sure, on the waiver wire. Moving forward, Jets at Bills. Whoever wants to go first this time, because Mason passed last
time. Jets at Bills. I'll go. I think you can start the Jets defense against the Bills. That's kind of a funny one, but I unfortunately, Allen's been a turnover machine. I think they probably are trying to emphasize that he doesn't do that, but he doesn't really listen when people tell him to do things. He just kind of does whatever the fuck he wants. So I think you can start the Jets. I think you might be scared because of the Bills' name, but I think the Jets defense is still very much in play.
Yeah. What do you think, Davis?
I'm gonna throw my Foo Fighter out there as well, which is going to be a little sketchy, but we're going to do it. Tyler Conklin over 10 points. 15 points. So I'm going to say so we're going to be real bold.
Wow.
I'm going to say that because he's been great the past few weeks. He's been double digits, 10, 12 points, and
over 15.
The 15's aggressive, but that's why we have the segment. And the Broncos showed that you can move the ball on the Bills. The Bills defense is not what we thought it was at the beginning of the year, obviously due to injury. So I'm gonna say it. If we can do Ayuk at 20 points when he's he had 13 last week, I'm gonna go Conklin at 15. Let's get frisky.
I kind of like the Jets in this game. I at least like them with the points. I like them +7. Zach Wilson has beat him the last 2 times they played. He's beaten the Bills. Bills are beat up on defense. The Jets defense match up very, very well against the Bills. You can run on the Jets, but the Bills don't really have a run game. So yeah, you can start Wilson, Conklin, Brees, and then Bills side, I think you can still start Cook. I wouldn't start Gabe Davis, but Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen and Dalton Kincaid. Anybody else?
Both defenses.
Yeah, I think it's been pretty low scoring. Let's move on to the Seahawks at Rams. Davis, what do you got?
Oh yeah.
Man, Tyler Lockett.
Damn it! That's the one.
Tyler Lockett.
Fuck you.
Just.
I gotta find something.
I don't even think I need to go into that. He was a monster last week. He's getting it done again this year, like he does every year.
Every year,
where we say, maybe not. Who knows? He's boring. He's getting traded for who knows what. I took 20-something points to the face against him last week. So, just Tyler Lockett, smash start. Don't even think about it.
Yeah. Mason.
Well, I was going to say Lockett too because he's just been
double it
against them. But let me think of something else real quick on the fly. I think that what's his name? Wow, the running back for the Seattle Seahawks,
Kenneth
Walker. Thank you. Holy God. I think their run defense is okay, but people have been doubting him still. The timeshare has been split, but I think you can start maybe both of these running backs if you're in a tight spot. But I'm gonna say that he's continuing to do what he's doing because people are like Davis said last week. He's like, well, if he didn't have that one big run, he's like, well, he did have that one big run, and he looked really good when he did it. I think he's looking healthier. So obviously you're starting him regardless, but I think he's continuing to go with this trend.
Yeah, he's still RB7 on the year. He's like, yeah, he's still a pretty good player.
But Charbonnet is getting opportunity, and I'm very interested to keep track of that. In a deeper league, he's there. It's 50-50 split right now, so he might start getting goal line stuff too.
Yeah. It's tough. You still got big boy Aaron Donald there clogging up the middle. But I like Puka and Kupp in this game, and I like.
If you were nervous,
yeah, I like DK Lockett. Jason, you can start. I don't love that as a start, but you absolutely can start because I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game, a lot of passing happening in this game, and both running backs for sure. I wouldn't touch the tight ends or defenses, but Gino and
Stafford at play for you?
Streamer. Yeah, Streamer.
If you're desperate.
Yeah.
If you're desperate, I doubt. I don't think you need to. I would be wary.
Yeah, neither quarterback I really love, but
yeah.
I also don't know what the injury looks like, so I'd
exactly. I think you should stay away. He's not been great all year, even when he's been healthy. He's not getting you. His floor has been pretty good, but his ceiling is very capped.
Right. Vikings at Broncos. It's the last game on Sunday Night Football. Such an exciting game. Vikings at Broncos. Let's go. Dun, 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 dun.
Williams, baby.
Yeah.
He's crushing right now. He's getting monster targets or monster opportunities. My Foo Fighter is going to be Javonte Williams. I'm saying he goes over 20 again this week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Minnesota has the 5th best run defense.
Yeah.
But he doesn't really run. He gets the catches. Yeah, you're right.
He gets catches and he's running so angry right now. That's my bold prediction. Foo Fighter 20 over for Javonte.
And Russell Wilson is playing well, and Sean Payton's actually calling the game pretty well too. I hate to give him credit, but he is. Davis, who do you like?
Oh, I was going to say a very unknown wide receiver named Justin Jefferson might be back, but until we know that for sure, I'm not going to claim him. Yeah. What I am going to do is say Joshua Dobbs. Again,
let's go.
Not the most hard-hitting analysis because he's just been straight smoking people. But man, oh man, it's fun to watch. You can start him no problem. Love Josh Dobbs in this game.
Yeah,
all right, I'm going to change my Foo Fighter a little bit. I'm going to say Javonte is top 10. 20 might be a little aggressive.
Yeah, that's that.
No, yeah, I'm happy to be a chicken. I'm going to say he's top 10 though. Top 10 for sure.
Yeah, 20 points is like a top 4 or 5 running back.
Yeah, I'm going to say 10 because that defense is not easy.
Yeah.
So top 10.
Yeah, it's tough to run on the Vikings, but you can definitely throw on them. I think you can. I wouldn't play Judy, but you can probably play Judy if you want. I like Cortland Sutton, Javonte Williams, Russell Wilson, Josh Dobbs, Jefferson if he plays, Addison, Hawkinson, and that's it. Neither defense, right?
No.
I would say neither defense. I would say if Justin Jefferson does not play, I would shy away from Addison in this one because he'll probably have Pat Surtain on him.
Yeah,
Surtain is probably is a top 2 or 3 corner in the league right now.
Yeah,
but it's happening.
Is it? Loud. Yeah, sorry, that's my mic. It was. Yeah, it didn't matter. Yeah, Surtain. He's been kind of quiet this year. We haven't really talked about Surtain a lot.
Yeah, remember how many points Stephon Diggs put up on Sunday or Monday?
Yeah.
Their Broncos are second. Or they're pretty good against the wide receiver. They suck against running backs and tight ends. So Chandler, I didn't even think about saying Chandler, but Chandler, they're not good against the running back. So that's a solid play. I got to play him this week because I have Taylor on a bye.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to Monday Night Football. Are you ready for what? Monday Night Football. Dun. Yeah. Dun. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Eagles at Chiefs. Andy Reid is 27-4 off of a bye. Davis, you can go first with your take.
Of the week. God, I don't know. Isaiah Pacheco is going to get right in this game.
Wow, against that run defense.
You heard what I said.
Wow.
Mahomes is going to be able to light him up through the air. That's just going to happen. I think
open up lane
from a 4-point game before their bye, and it's just going to open up lanes. Pacheco's also been catching more balls this year. I don't have the stats to back that up, unfortunately, but feels like he's been much more involved in the passing game.
He actually has.
I just see a lot more work coming for him this week.
Yeah, he's had 2 down weeks.
I kind of like a McKinnon anytime touchdown out of nowhere. I think he's like plus 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mason, who do you like?
I'm breathing this into existence. AJ Brown's going to get a lot of attention from their corners. I think
McDuffie.
I think Devontae Smith is going to have a monster game.
I agree.
I think they both do. But because Goddard is out last year, when Goddard went down, they were wide receivers 1 and 2 in the last 5 or 6 games. And I think that's going to happen again because he's got a broken arm. So they're just going to feed the two of them. I can't name the third wide receiver on that team.
Julio Jones.
Yeah, sure.
DeAndre Swift.
Isn't it Olamide Zacchaeus?
I think you're right. Yeah. But that's the point. When was the last time you saw them get a fucking...
Oh, yeah. Eagles are fun offense to have players with because they funnel everything to just you guys.
Smith might be, I don't know if he's a buy low, but he just came off a bye week. So if you can try and snag him. I had a friend ask me if he thinks it was a smart idea to give up Olave for Smith. And I was like, oof, that's real tough. I don't know if I would do that, but it's tantalizing and it's worth thinking about.
Yeah, 1,000,000,000% I would. Would I rather have you throw me the ball or Derek Carr throw me the ball? If he gets Winston, absolutely keep Olave. But
I think Carr's probably going to come back because of the bye week. But
he's going to force himself back. He doesn't want to get that job taken.
You would rather have Olave over Smith the rest of the year?
No, I'd rather have Smith.
Smith.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
Davis.
I don't know if I'm ready to go that far. Purely, and I'm wearing the Saints jersey, obviously. Purely objectively, I don't know that I am ready to go that far yet. Just because one is, in theory, the number one option on their team, and the other one has AJ Brown on their team. But
the number one option on the Saints is Kamara, so he's not the number one on the team. The number two is for Shaheed right now. Like I don't like. Olave finally had a good game. I don't know. I love Olave. I think Olave is very, very talented. I don't love him because he's a Saint, but I think he's very talented.
I love the bold take. We'll see what happens this game. But
yeah, you think there's 30 targets? I got Swift, Smith, and Brown. Who else is catching balls? Nobody.
I just said it for sure.
Yeah, Shaheed. There's a way. Taysom Hill can come in. There's a bunch more guys that catch balls in the Saints. So you're just looking at 10 targets a game. You have to, because who else is getting targets? But that's a wrap. So our Foo Fighters, I got Brandon Ayuk 20 plus points. Mason, you got Javonte top 10, and Davis, you had
15 points.
15 points. Wow, that's.
He had 14 last week. It's not that big of a stretch.
Yeah, and the Bills are terrible. So, like I told you they'd be. And Mason, do you want to lead us out?
Yes, it is time to go. We will see you on the other side of this weekend. May you have fantasy fortune. And if not, you know what we say.
Football podcast.
Bye now.
See y'all later.